Cool. Cool. So this is just my effort to connect with people who make art uh, that I find uh, that adds to people's lives. So I thought
Mhm.
you were part of Kim's Convenience, which was really amazing, which I related to on so many levels, and
Mhm.
uh, um, and yeah, and plus you're an Indian, so it was good to see more of us on screen in Canada, in
Yeah,
on
it's so
Canadian
funny.
TV.
I don't really book Indian roles, and
Okay,
what was interesting was after the Kim's Convenience episode aired, there were
okay,
a lot of people from abroad
okay.
who messaged me and were like, "Oh, it's so great to see an Indian person. Oh, it's so great." And it's funny because I'm like, "Oh, okay. Okay, people do see me as Indian." But it's just
Uh,
so funny
yeah,
how the industry flips here, whereas it's
yeah,
like, "Oh, you don't necessarily look. You could be a mix or you could be this." And I
okay.
think it's one of the reasons why diversity is important. Like even
Yes,
there's so many people outside of our scope that we're looking at that is like,
yes.
oh, I see myself in that person, you know?
Okay,
Yeah, so it's great. And it's great that it has a global reach, which allows people to watch it
yes,
and see that diversity as well.
yeah. That's that's great. So. So there's that, and you also had a role in Working Moms, which is a huge TV series in Canada, and
Yeah,
in fact, it won many awards, I think.
yeah.
I mean, I know, sorry.
I mean, I
So,
didn't win an award, but
but no, since you were part of the series, I mean, you also share the accolades. So
yeah,
it's
I'll take it. Yeah.
So it's great. I mean, you're in so many award-winning shows. There's Condor. Uh, there's uh, there's at least two or three more series. Your acting credits are really amazing. I mean, the people that you worked with are some most of them are critically acclaimed, and you
Yeah.
know,
We are lucky here in Canada that we get a lot of filming here and we also get a lot of US filming as well.
okay,
So it really opens the pool for like what you can audition for, what you can be a part of.
okay,
I'm lucky that I've been able to do a lot of the bigger Canadian shows here.
okay.
And then also sneak onto some American television shows as well.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. So would you consider yourself as a Canadian actor who is of Indian descent, or
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was born and raised here, but I'm fluent in
okay,
Punjabi. I mean, I
okay,
grew up with my like living with my grandparents, like any traditional like Indian person would, especially then,
okay,
or like in my generation. But yeah, so it's nice because of course I can play into the Canadian field as well.
yes,
But it also gives me the flexibility to audition for more, I mean, not more traditional roles, but like, you know, people who speak a different language and be able to bring that as well to what I can go out for.
yes, uh, yes. Uh, uh, sorry,
Okay.
just a second. So we'd love to know how you got into acting, and you know what would
Oh,
be
how
your
much time do you have? Yeah. Um, I mean, I grew up thinking I was supposed to be a doctor, like I'm sure a lot of us do, or like lawyer and this and that. I was
Oh
always
yeah.
a very playful kid. I loved
Okay.
television from the start, but
Okay.
it wasn't something that was necessarily like catered to or flourished when I was a kid. And I think that comes from, you know, your parents leaving their country to come to a new country, and it's like you have to be successful, and like they don't
Okay.
necessarily look at an artist as a success. But
Okay.
um I did plan to go to university. become a physio or a doctor, and I was just
Oh,
in my
okay.
second year of university, and I was like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Okay.
So I kind of left school. I don't
Okay.
recommend that to young people watching.
Yeah.
Always
Yeah.
finish school.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I just happened to have some things that came later on that helped me through. When I
Okay.
look back, I really do wish I finished my degree, but I wish I did it in something different. I think that's why I didn't want to stay. I was still doing sciences, and I was just like, I had had enough of it.
Okay.
But I left university, and I just, in a twist of like fate and how it
Yeah.
happened, I met my improv teacher, and then I
Yeah.
started doing improv, and that
Yeah.
was 13 years ago, and I've just been doing this ever since.
Wow. Okay. That's that's awesome. So yeah. So uh so about your upcoming acting projects. I mean, under your credits is Kim's Convenience and Working Mom. So is there anything big,
Well,
on the
there's
docket?
there's always new shows being made, and again, you have something that's called pilot season in a way, and that's when like new shows are coming up. So, I
Okay.
mean, there's a lot of auditioning going on right now, and
Okay.
like, but those are, you either get it, you don't. There's so many people auditioning at the same time. That's
Okay.
always kind of like the wheel that's turning.
Okay.
Um, but I'm just working towards writing my own stuff as well.
Okay.
Parts that I would want to play that I don't get to audition for.
Okay.
It's always really good to start writing for yourself anyways, just
Okay.
because it gives you stuff to do in the downtime. So I'm focusing on trying to get some of my own work out there as well. And hopefully with the connections that I have made over the years, that's something that I can get going.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah. So so with COVID, that happened in
Mhm.
2020. So, so how do you think it affected acting as a profession? And
Um, in the heart of the pandemic, I mean, everything was shut down, so there wasn't anything going on.
okay,
Oddly enough, like animation, like cartoons, can
okay,
still stay because there's no one there. So I actually was able to get in some writers' rooms for cartoons. So I wrote an
wow,
episode of a Canadian television, like cartoon episode. So those were still, because that was all on Zoom anyways.
okay,
Even now that the world is opening up again, a
yeah,
lot of auditions have transitioned into self tapes. So I
okay,
don't know if
okay,
you know what self tapes are, but like you'll get an audition, and normally you
okay,
would memorize the lines and you would go in somewhere and tape. Now it's, you basically just film it on your camera, someone reads for you, and then you send it off. So
okay,
that's been the biggest change, I would say, for a working actor is that it's more, which can be difficult sometimes. I mean,
okay,
I have my broom in the background, I have a bunch of guitars in the background, I have like Kleenex
yeah,
boxes. It's hard
yes,
to have like a clear space,
okay,
but it is the world now. So you kind of, my boyfriend installed like a drape wall for me in the room. So it's like, just pull the
okay,
drape down, it's all clean, and that's kind of
okay,
what you're in front of. So,
okay,
so I think more so for auditions, we don't get to go in as much.
okay,
You're taping those more, and really just on set, when you do get on set, just a lot more health protocols like testing and masks
okay,
still in between and all that kind of stuff. So
okay,
there's more so that's changed on the production side in terms of health and safety. And then
okay,
for the actor, it is more just you're doing your auditions at home and then just sending them to your agent.
okay, okay. That's great. Uh, yeah. So do you visit India from time to time? Um,
I, I've been twice. So I went when I was 22 and then I went when I was 25. So I've done
okay,
Punjab, and I got
okay.
to visit the hill stations, and I went to Agra, and I've
Wow,
gone to
okay,
Mumbai.
okay,
I do want to go back again. I was supposed to
okay,
go back with my mom before the pandemic hit.
Okay.
My mom tends to go back now. She tends to go back every year or two or every 3 years.
Okay.
Most of her family is here, but I love India. It's definitely a different world
Okay.
when you
Okay.
go, but also I do have a company party rickshaw, and some of our stuff is sourced from there as well.
Okay.
So that's also a reason why I've wanted to like travel a little more, be able to go to Jaipur, like talk to everyone that we're working with.
Okay.
But hopefully once the world opens up a little more, that I will be making more visits.
Awesome. Can we know more about your venture, Party Rickshaw?
Yeah, it's a side business I started with my cousin.
Okay.
It started really when we had like friends getting married here,
Okay.
and we wanted to gift them like a planner, like an organizer for their wedding.
Okay.
And we just noticed there were none that catered to an Indian wedding.
Okay.
And this was like 3 4 years ago. So back then there really were none. I feel like we've inspired some to like
Okay.
come out now. But yeah, we just created what we call the Dulhan Diary.
Oh, okay.
And
Yes.
that's
Okay. Yeah.
basically, it's basically like a sidekick, like a bride carries it around with her to like all her
Okay.
planning, meetings and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then we stretch the company out to, we do seasonal releases. So for Diwali, we do candles and diyas, and
Okay.
we have organic colors for Holi this year. It was
Okay.
just a
Awesome.
matter of how can we bring more of our culture and our roots into this generation and into the Western like hemisphere in a way, right? How do we blend living here but also keeping our culture alive as well, and like passing that on to our kids?
Oh, awesome. So it's for Indians living in Canada as well. I mean,
Well,
mostly
yeah,
in
we actually have a lot of Western clients because like we have notebooks, just like plain notebooks as well, that are like
okay.
beautifully hand dyed in India and like made from recycled cotton. So we do
Wow.
have a
Okay.
Western demographic as well.
Okay.
But for more of the seasonal stuff, I mean, it will end up being more Indian people um, purchasing. But you'd be shocked. Like people love our Dia releases every Diwali, and we have
Awesome.
everyone buying them.
Okay.
So it's just nice. It's not only nice to bring it back home to Indians here, but it's also nice to educate the rest of the world on.
Yes.
I mean, we know so widely about Christmas and Easter
Yeah.
that it's nice to teach and bring that here as well.
Definitely. So your parents are first generation Canadian who
I
moved
guess they're
there?
zero. Would they be zero generation? Like they were born in
Oh,
India,
okay.
and they, yeah.
So,
I'm
sorry.
first
Sorry.
generation. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you're first generation. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
No, 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 no. Please.
So, yeah. Uh, so, uh, with regard to technology, ever since COVID hit, I guess we're relying more on technology to stay in touch and to do other things. So, if you were to name five things that you could not live without,
Yeah, I kind of
apart,
I
yeah.
laughed at I'm so bad with technology.
Oh,
So
okay.
I would say my laptop
Oh, okay.
and probably my phone. I was like,
Okay.
I barely know how to use earpods. I can
Okay.
never get them to connect properly.
Okay.
Um, Even when Zoom started, I was like, oh, I can't even do this. This is gonna be a problem.
Okay.
So what other tech gadgets are there? I don't feel like
Yeah.
there are.
It's
I
usually
feel
the
like they're
phone.
very much more technologically advanced in India than we are, or at least I am here. I'm very
My,
old school. I like to keep it old school. I still go to
that's
the
great.
bank and talk to someone like,
Wow.
please deposit this check, as opposed to like online
Uh,
banking.
what? Really? No, you're kidding.
No, seriously, I prefer to go into the bank.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's nice.
yeah.
That's a good take on things. So, uh,
I look young. I'm not that young. No.
um, so yeah. So if you were to give anyone who was aspiring to be an actor in India or abroad, in Canada or anywhere. So what would be um, your, you know, your guidance, your advice to make it as an actor?
I think the biggest thing that I could say is find something that you really enjoy, and hopefully that makes you some money.
Okay,
Um,
ikigai type.
outside of the industry, because there is a lot of downtime.
Okay,
It's you're not always working and you're not
okay,
always on something. So how
okay,
can you, I think for me, and I don't, I mean, I come from a very middle class life here, and so
okay,
I don't live at home now. So I have to work, I have to make rent. And it can
okay,
be a slow process. And sometimes
okay,
people hear the advice of, oh, it takes time, oh, it takes time, and which it does.
okay,
But I feel like sometimes that can be a very daunting thing to hear,
okay,
because you're like, okay, how much time? So
okay,
really, what I try to tell people is like, what can you do to empower yourself and be financially stable without that?
yeah,
Because and then you don't have pressure when you're going to your art, that, oh, I
yes,
need this
yeah,
because I need the money.
okay,
Because you can read desperation. People read that in your auditions, right? It's true. Like,
okay,
we laugh, but
okay,
it's true. People can see that. And
okay,
so how can you empower yourself? How can you be stable
okay,
in the other times that
yes,
allow you to go to your art and have fun and not worry?
okay.
So like, I'm a massage therapist on the side, and
okay,
that's a career that I can really control. I can control my schedule. But
okay,
I do work other two casual jobs that just
wow, okay,
keep me going, And
okay,
like, maybe one day it'll be, I know I'm not making this sound very glamorous, but maybe one day it'll be that I don't need it. But it's also, what is your idea of a working actor? We see all these
okay,
big people who win Oscars. That's
okay,
1% of the population,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We have to
That's a
look at
fin,
that as
yeah,
the top, top, top.
that's a
So
finish
also
line.
get
Yeah,
real with your idea of what do you want? And someone, a mentor said this to me, what is your idea of success?
okay,
Right? And what is your idea of success in this industry? And
yes,
from there, and so, and you may be the person who makes that $1 million or whatever it is and never have to work another job but acting again. But for the majority, you really are working and trying to get this and working and trying to do something else. And
okay,
and that's hard because a lot of people go to serving or like something,
okay,
but I encourage people, and that goes back to school. If you really
okay,
want to be an actor,
yeah,
it's always going to be here, and that drive is always going to be there. So
okay,
go to school, find a
okay,
program that helps you do stuff outside of it as well. You know what I mean? I
okay,
think that if I were to say, I feel like that's the best thing that you can do for yourself.
okay. So support yourself financially and then also pursue your dream as an actor.
Yeah. Like,
Okay,
support yourself, but like, but if you are good with videos and you can make money off YouTube or TikTok or whatever it is,
okay,
go for it.
okay.
Right.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I also like, I have a side job
okay.
literally pulling files at the hospital. I like
Wow,
that.
okay,
I don't have to think
okay,
much about it. I just
okay,
go, I do my thing.
okay.
And I mean, you can find art everywhere. There are so many different characters at the hospital,
Oh, okay.
so they're real people, but they're characters. And so I think anything that just opens your eyes to other people, other settings, it's just,
It
this is me personally. I would find a job outside of acting completely to do on the
okay.
side. It keeps you
Awesome.
grounded too. I find.
Okay. Yes, yes, it does. So can we know more about your partner, your boyfriend?
No.
No, okay. Sorry. Sorry.
Okay. I mean, there's really nothing to say. He's
Oh,
he's
okay.
the opposite of me,
Okay.
and shy, likes to
That's
keep
always
to
great.
himself. and
Opposites
that's
attract.
about it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And can we know
And
more
totally
about?
not in the industry. Like he's not in the industry at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But he's a musician though?
Oh no, he just plays
No.
guitars for fun. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's
Awesome.
that's all for a hobby.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, uh, so can we know a little about your short film, uh,
Oh, the roster.
the
Yeah,
roster?
that was actually one of the first things I ever did.
Okay.
And again, it's funny where parts come from. Like I had been auditioning, I wasn't getting anything, and I was
Okay.
auditioning for like little parts here and there.
Yeah.
And then Stephanie, who's the director writer of the roster, I
Yeah.
actually met her in a director's workshop.
Oh, okay.
So we just met and she just got to know me and she was like, "Hey, I think you're the main character for my movie." So I didn't even audition for that part
Oh, okay.
formally. I
Okay.
basically auditioned getting to know her. And she was just like, "You're who?" And she grew up in BC and Surrey around a lot of Indian people. So I think she was like always thinking of
Okay.
like even she was like, "I feel like I want an Indian person in this role."
Oh, okay.
That was a very intense shoot. It was 4 days. I was in
Wow.
like every single scene. I
Oh,
started
okay.
at 6. I ended at like 2 a.m.
Okay.
Uh, but it was a blast. I had a great
Okay.
time. I never had formal theater training or film
Whoa.
school or
Okay.
anything.
Wow.
So
Okay.
for me, I
You're
found,
self-taught.
yeah, I mean, I've taken improv, but like,
I mean,
I guess you could say I'm self-taught. Again, the funny thing is like acting, it's going to sound so cliche, but it really just is life. Like how much a life experience can you bring, right?
okay.
Um, most people go most people go to theater school and then unlearn theater school. So it's very different and it's
Okay.
very different for everyone. This is just my journey. It's just how it happened, right?
Yes.
Um, but I've been able to find positions like that. Filming that movie is like 5 years of film school
Wow.
in 4 days.
Okay.
Like, right? Because
Wow.
you're learning
Because
so much
you're
while you're
learning
on there.
right on the
Yeah.
job. Okay.
Yeah. And I did this one job which was like a theater murder mystery. And it was
Okay.
like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you did a play every day. And I
Oh,
had never
okay.
gone to theater school, but I was like, that's I guess that's my lesson in theater school. You know, you
Wow. Okay.
repeat the same thing every day, you know. So
Okay.
even though I'm not formally trained, I find I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And I found
Wow. Okay.
I would be met with opportunities that allowed me to learn very quickly,
Oh, okay.
which I think
Okay.
also helped.
So Stephanie also has acting credits to her name, right? At least, or
Yeah, she's an actor. I think she works more production and
yeah.
stuff now. But
Okay.
yeah, she was also an actor. Again, I feel like everyone's always gonna venture off and do their own thing as well,
Okay.
which was what she was doing with the roster.
She's associated with quite a few well-known projects. There's Unreal. There is uh, uh, there are at least two or three more projects
Yeah,
that are pretty well known.
yeah. We did the
As
roster very early on, like it was before a lot of that stuff as well. But yeah,
okay, the crowd, the company you keep is amazing because everyone has either been in amazing TV series or is a part of it in some way. It's really nice to see. I mean,
yeah,
it's not
yeah,
nice. It's really cool. So
yeah.
yeah. So uh, so about travel, since you live in Canada, so where do you like to travel in your off time? What are some of the places that you've traveled to, especially during the COVID time? Oh, okay, okay.
Before,
When it started opening up, or
yeah.
right before that.
I mean,
So
right before we were supposed to go to London, which didn't happen. I mean, I've been to London a couple times anyways. I have a lot of family everywhere. So I've done like California, London. I've done Europe. I've been to Berlin, Sweden,
Wow. Okay.
Copenhagen. I
Okay.
do a lot of, I try to go away. My mom works for Air Canada, so I grew up around that industry, but
Okay.
I've also done Southeast Asia. A good friend of mine lives in Hong Kong, and
Okay.
so I've done like Cambodia, Thailand.
Okay.
Obviously also done India. I would love one place that I haven't gotten to, like I'd love to get to Australia
Okay.
and Australia and Hawaii. Those are two places that I haven't
You have to
have.
visit Bangalore sometime when you come to India.
Yes, yes, of course, of course.
Yeah. Nice
Of
weather
course.
and
Yeah.
quite a few good pubs here.
Okay,
So,
good to know.
yeah. I mean, just a random thing, but Bangalore is a nice
Yeah,
place to hang out. That's
yeah.
where I live. So yeah,
I'll let you know for sure.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So uh, so uh, coming to food, so what would be your favorite breakfast? Um,
Oof, I hate
you
breakfast. I
you
actually just
do
have a shake in the morning. It's a very high calorie shake that I have in the morning.
okay.
Um, but I always find it hardest to eat in the morning, but I love fries. Fries are my favorite.
Oh,
Just
okay.
in general, not for breakfast, just food in general.
Oh, okay.
Hamburger and fries. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. So what about do you have any favorite Indian foods? Do you?
Yeah, aloo gobi is my favorite. And
Wow,
and
aloo gobi.
so and
Okay.
chole, like chickpeas, those are my favorite.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Nice. So is that quintessential Punjabi fare?
It's what?
Is it quintessential Punjabi fare? A Punjabi dish? Uh,
Aloo gobi?
aloo gobi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And and chole.
Yeah.
Chole is chole is more. I mean, it's not just to Punjab. It's
No,
all over.
it is more, but it's the way my mom makes it.
Oh,
That's
okay. Yeah. Home
yeah.
food is the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
It's hard when people ask me for like Indian restaurant recommendations in Toronto because I'm just like I go to my mom's house. I don't eat outside, so
So,
I don't really know where to go.
okay. So do they come home? Do they come to your mom's? Oh, so does your mom's stay in Canada?
Oh yeah, yeah, everyone's still here.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah, like my grandparents, my dad's parents
okay.
immigrated over 40 years ago here.
Oh, okay.
So even some of my dad's younger siblings like went to school, like went to high school here. My
Oh,
dad
okay.
was already older and didn't.
Oh, okay.
But my dad's oldest brother like finished medical school in India and then came to the US. So
Oh,
they're
okay.
all here. Everybody is here. My dad, like we still
Oh
have
my
a
God.
home and
I'm sorry. Is your brother a doctor?
no, my brother's not a doctor.
He finished medical school because that the comparison would be terrible.
No, my uncle, my like my dad's brother.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, but all
Because
my cousins are doctors. Don't worry, I get compared a
whoa.
lot. Yeah,
Okay, because parents
like
always like, why didn't you do that? Or why
oh
didn't you
yeah,
do
they
this?
still ask if I want to go back to nursing school or something. It's okay. You
Oh,
just
okay.
gotta ignore those.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah, okay, no,
Okay.
not for me.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So, uh,
I think I have time for like one more question.
yeah. So, if there's anything else, you'd like to say, um, um, about, your upcoming projects or anything at all, because I
No, no,
don't
it's
know.
okay. I don't have too much to say about upcoming projects. I can't talk too much about what I'm writing, or I try not to at least.
Okay.
But it is an immigrant story. Like I feel like there's, Kim's Convenience is more of a comedy. I feel like mine would be more of like a comedy drama. It's like bringing
Okay.
light, but also talking about real issues, like real immigrant issues and ancestral like topics.
Okay.
But I mean, I really appreciate you reaching out. It's
Thank you.
I go around my everyday life, don't think I'm very special. So
No,
um
almost everyone who's watched Kim's Convenience will know you. Deanne is
Yeah,
a very memorable character in King's Convenience. Nobody will forget that for sure. They'll remember that over many other characters, especially the Indians, for sure.
that's funny.
Uh,
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. That's the
so,
goal. Hopefully, that's the goal. Maybe
yeah,
when I come to Bangalore, I'll be recognized a lot.
definitely, you will be for sure. For sure.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciated this, and I had a great time.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Harmeet. Yeah.
No
Thank you.
problem.
Yeah. Have a great day. See
Okay,
you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.